Pittsburgh Steelers 2024 mandatory minicamp is officially over. So today, I'm going to be breaking down my final thoughts and takeaways from minicamp this year, just to kind of wrap things up here as we start our preparations for Steelers training camp here in the next couple of weeks. Before we get into it here, make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you can't wait for training camp, if you're like me, man, I cannot wait to get to Latrobe this year, watch Russell Wilson and Justin Fields in person, throwing that rock around. I can't wait to see it. If you're with me on that, make sure you click that thumbs up icon right now. So let's get to my takeaways here, first up on the show, which is the first one here is that Troy Fautanu, the right tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it is confirmed this week that he is going to be playing right tackle for the Steelers this year. Now, it's not necessarily confirmed that he's going to be starting at right tackle this year, but it definitely seems like his future with this team is going to be on the right side. This is what offensive line coach Pat Meyer had to say about the first-round rookie out of Washington. I don't think it's been as hard for him to change to right tackle and do that as it would be for other guys. To be honest with you, when I talked to the kid before drafting him, he said he felt better on the right than on the left. So listen, man, it definitely seems like everything has worked itself out in Pittsburgh in terms of the tackles, right? There was a lot of debate as to who was going to play on the left side and who was going to play on the right side once they drafted Troy Fautanu in the first round this year between him and Broderick Jones. But, Broderick has said in the past that he's more comfortable playing on the left. That's where they probably plan on playing him in the future. And then apparently now we figure out that Troy feels more comfortable on the right side. That's where he played in high school. And they moved him over to the left side there in Washington, and he was one of the best tackles in the country. And listen, man, if he's more comfortable playing on the right side, I mean, just imagine how much better he can be, even better than what he was there at Washington on the left side. So I think that, everything kind of has a way of working itself out here, and I definitely think that's the case here with the Pittsburgh Steelers O-line. Then we get to my second takeaway here from minicamp this week, and that's that George Pickens is going to be playing in the slot more often here, and Arthur Smith is going to get more creative than Matt Canada did last year in terms of how he's going to use Pickens in the offense this year. This is what George Pickens had to say about why he likes playing in the slot, where he says, "I'm a total receiver. I like working in the slot just as much as I like working as an outside receiver. It puts me on linebackers, puts me on safeties. If you got super, super good speed, you can split defenders, and it's going to be easy to score." So obviously George is somebody that definitely feels confident in his ability playing within the slot. He even said it's easier to score from there, especially in the red zone. And I like that Arthur Smith is planning on using him in a bevy of different ways because, it gives him versatility and it gives this offense a versatile amount of ways to attack opposing defenses. It's not like they're going to be like a Matt Canada offense and just go out static every single time, no motion or anything, and, just having guys in their set spots. Like George Pickens is going to be playing a bunch of different spots, keeping the opposing defense on their toes, always knowing where he is on the field. I think that only means good things for the Steelers offense. My final takeaway here on today's show is you got to watch out for Darnel Washington in the red zone, okay? Because he is being used a lot in terms of, that target in the red zone because he is massive, all right? You can just throw up a 50-50 ball to him, and he's got really secure hands. He can make those contested catches in the red zone. I think, maybe the volume of targets, especially not in the red zone for Washington, might not be all that much. He is the number 2 tight end, and he's more of a blocking tight end. But I expect to see a lot of 2 tight end sets in the red zone here because you can do a lot of stuff there in terms of the run game, and then you can be versatile and kind of confuse the defense in terms of the play action game where you're going to be able to target a big body like Darnel Washington in those tight spaces, which I think is going to be a big time advantage for the Steelers offense this year. Now, let me know, over or under? Will Darnel Washington have over or under 4.5 touchdowns this year? Do you think he gets to 5 TDs on this season? Type over if you think he's going to get over that mark, or under if you think he's going to get under. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me an over or an under. So in other news here, Omar Khan, the Steelers GM, announced on Thursday that the team is not going to be negotiating contracts for extensions, at least during the season. Now, this is something the Steelers have always done, and he got a question about it yesterday on, I believe, a radio program asking him, are things going to change? Are you going to be negotiating contract extensions during the season. And his answer to that was, no, we're going to keep doing what we've always done, and you either need to get an extension done by the end of the offseason or you're not going to get one during the year. So what this means here is that all these guys that are up for extensions, Cam Hayward, Pat Freiermuth, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, all these guys that are up for extensions, they have to get the deal done before the start of the year or they're not going to get it, and they are going to become free agents next offseason. Now, in terms of the guys that I think will get deals done before the end of the offseason, I think Cam Hayward and the Steelers will come to some sort of agreement, and I think it'll actually be more team-friendly than maybe some people think. Otherwise think there. And then Pat Freiermuth, I think that they really like him. He's been fantastic in practices to this point. I think he's going to be a crucial part of this Arthur Smith offense here in Pittsburgh, and I think they're going to want to lock him up long term. Now, the guys that I don't think are going to get deals done, Russell Wilson, just because he's a massive question mark heading into the year. He's coming off of 2 down seasons compared to his career numbers and his career averages. Do you really want to make a long-term commitment to somebody like that? I'm not sure if the Steelers do before they see him play, especially in this offense. Najee Harris, they declined his 5th-year option. I think they kind of want to make a decision on him after this next campaign. Same thing goes for Jaylen Warren. And then Justin Fields, who I don't think will get a deal done because I don't think he wants to get a deal done. I think if I was Justin Fields right now, I would want to test the market. If there's a team out there that is desperate for a young quarterback with potential, and we know that the quarterback class, rookie class next year is not going to be any good, Justin Fields might have an opportunity to start for another team. So if Russell Wilson plays well, gets a long-term contract, I don't want to be in Justin Fields' position where I'm signing a 3-year extension to be Russell Wilson's backup for the next 3 years. I want an opportunity to start as fast as possible, so I don't think Justin is going to want to come to the table either. Now, coming up here on Steelers Talk, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Justin Fields and how he praised Mike Tomlin's culture and how it differed from the Chicago Bears culture when he was there in the Windy City. But before we get into that, if you believe in Justin Fields and you think that he is the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers football franchise here, you can go to chatsports.com/Fields to get a brand new number 2 Justin Fields Steelers jersey from our friends at Fanatics. And if you're thinking about getting a Justin Fields jersey regardless and you want to help out the channel in some way here, if you use our link, chatsports.com/Fields, I'll put that link in the comments and description of today's show. You click that link, you make a purchase, and then Fanatics is going to send us part of the proceeds. So if you want to help out the channel, you want to get a Justin Fields jersey, you can do that right now by going to chatsports.com/Fields. Now let's talk about what Fields had to say about the Steelers culture and how it differed from Chicago's. He says, me being in 2 different places now, I realize you don't get this culture everywhere. I think Chicago, they're kind of changing the narrative now, but this has been the culture here for so many years. You can see it, just the way that we attack each and every day. Coach Tomlin, he stays on us about it. So I think just having that, reiterating that each and every day, that keeps guys on their toes. Guys are ready to compete each and every day. So it certainly seems like Justin Fields, who has been a part of a bad coaching culture in the National Football League, he sees the difference between Mike Tomlin, who's, like he says, he keeps guys on their toes, keeps the competition going every single day. Sounds like a guy like Justin Fields, who has been around, the block here and has changed organizations here this past year, really appreciates the way that Mike Tomlin runs his organization. And listen, man, when it comes to Mike Tomlin, I think that his culture can be best represented by 1-score wins, all right? And I think that what this talks about here, since Mike Tomlin has taken over as the Steelers head coach, the Pittsburgh Steelers are first in the National Football League in winning percentage in 1-score games. So what does this mean? This means that the Steelers are the most mentally tough teams in the clutch among all 32 NFL franchises. And that includes the New England Patriots when they were winning all these Super Bowls during that time frame. All right, that includes all the teams in the National Football League. So when I hear people talk about Mike Tomlin being the problem, when year in and year out, he builds mentally tough cultures that are able to deliver wins in close situations, I kind of scratch my head and I'm like, can we maybe look at something else here? Because Mike Tomlin, you listen to all the players, they all say how great of a great coach he is. Maybe we should listen to the people that are actually in the locker room about how good this guy is as a coach. But, people just want to look at the playoff record and be like, he hasn't won a playoff game in 7 years. We have to get rid of him. But it's like, this guy's an excellent head coach. He gets the most out of these players. He gets everyone to buy in. That's the number one job of a head coach. And having a guy like Justin Fields, who has been in a bad culture, come in and say it's so much better, I think that should show every single Steelers fan that Mike Tomlin knows what he's doing. And my take on Coach T, generally speaking here, is that, if you give him the right quarterback, he hasn't had the right quarterback that's capable of winning a Super Bowl probably since 2017, 2018. Older Big Ben was gassed by the end of seasons, and then he had a stretch there of Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph. Of course they weren't going to win Super Bowls during that portion. And of course they weren't going to compete against Patrick Mahomes and some of these teams they played in the playoffs. I mean, just to get to the playoffs with that kind of quarterback play is an accomplishment for Mike Tomlin. So now I believe the roster is right. I'm hoping the quarterback and the offensive coordinator are right. And if those things are right, I believe Mike Tomlin is the kind of leader that can still lead this team to a championship, and I can't wait to see him do it once again here in Pittsburgh. Now, true or false? Let me know down there in the comments section. Is Mike Tomlin a top 5 head coach in the National Football League today? Simply type true or false for me down there in the comments section, and let me know how you're feeling about Coach T. All right, that'll be it for today's program, guys. I really do appreciate all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. And you can also follow us here at Chat Sports, @Chat Sports on Twitter.